So what can you do with properties dialog? Well, you get to it just by double-clicking just about anything in the quick layout spreadsheet, or you can get to it through the tools menu. What you can do is you can set the global display properties, initial values of fields, and component level security. Okay? And for example, if you want to set the control type, that's just the set of buttons up here. So, for example, suppose you want to make something read-only on an edit table. Well, you just change it to literal, because by definition that's not a text box. If you want to make something editable, you just change it to a text box. Okay? So these control properties are very powerful. Suppose you want it to be a drop-down list or list box or radio button list for data entry. Well, pick which type you want. Suppose you have a field that contains a file. You make it a file upload or download control here, okay, instead of a literal or a text box. Suppose you want to display an image. Just select image. Designer will generate the correct code and the correct behavior based on the control type you pick. Suppose you want to conditionally format or conditionally display a field. So for example, for literals and labels, if a field contains a value, you can display this. In this case, I'm saying, hey, display in red the field. The bracket 0 bracket is kind of the placeholder that we have for the field value, but you can put all manner of script or HTML, anything you want in this cell to display. Now, if it doesn't contain a value, just display a non-breaking space. Or let's say it's an image field that you're displaying. In this case, you would say, maybe you have a not available image, or contact your sales rep or something like that. So kind of anything that you want to do. The other thing that you can do is you can change the display foreign key as. So click the global display properties over here, display the global display properties dialog, and change what you want displayed. So for example, instead of the last name, display the first name. Instead of the shipper name, you might display the shipper address or something like that, kind of whatever you'd like to display. So let me show you a quick example of this, and then we can go back and take some more questions here. I'll go back to Designer, and we'll do some conditional text display. And I think I'm going to go back to my show customers example just so you can see it. So here we are again. Okay. We've got two bold-faced things. And I think what I'd like to do now is modify the facts, and I'll show you, again, a third way to change this. So suppose I have a fax, okay? And I'm just going to double-click this. I'm going to go in here, and I'll go to the first where it is displayed as a field. And what we'll do is we'll say font color equals blue. Okay, we'll have fax numbers in blue / font. And I'll type the word fax, okay? So just like I did in the cell, you can just think of this kind of like a mini cell editor here. So you can type anything in this little mini cell editor you want. And I'm going to display this, the field in blue, followed by the word fax. And if there's nothing in there, display it as a non-breaking space. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to get rid of my fax label because I'm going to print out the word fax, okay? Now, unlike up here where the word phone is physically in the field, or I've got this phone label out here, the fax label is actually part of the control now, as is its formatting property, because I set the font to blue. Okay? So for example, if I move this field over here, okay, that's going to move the whole kit and caboodle with me. And that's really the advantage of formatting at the individual control level. Because as you're moving things around, all of those style properties move with the control, as opposed to them being properties of the cell. Okay? So let's go now to live preview and see what this thing looks like. Okay, here's our page. As you see, I changed that to blue, right? And here's the word fax that's come out just kind of in the normal cell color that's the same cell color. That cell color, as you might remember, is really governed here by the cell style, which is FLS, which is field label style, I think. Okay? And again, if you don't like that color, go modify it in the style sheet as we demonstrated a moment ago. Okay?